Yo, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know what to talk about with this episode.
Sounds like it's gonna be a fun one. Or
oh, they're all so fun, aren't they? Yeah, kind of in between dungeons right now, and it's just kind of, you know. Hey, Mishima's really hyped up though. I guess that's a good thing. But me, I'm just kind of like.
Something tells me he's just gonna get himself in trouble. And he said he's going to hire Juku.
You know, I make the mistake of being like too excited up for the main plot line, even though I should know this, considering I played all of the other Persona games, that it does kind of take its time with that. It's literally supposed to be spread out over an entire year, you know. It's kind of the whole, like, shut up, Morgana. That's kind of the whole, like, thing behind the series, more or less.
Are you in Tokyo this whole time? I thought this was like a suburb, like a kind of an out of the way.
No, you're in like the heart of Tokyo, my dude.
Wow.
I don't know where exactly because I'm not really familiar with Tokyo and its many landmarks all that much, but
is it a real place in Tokyo?
Like, there is no way that they have a place called Prison School in Tokyo. We have to mention again that the place is called Shujin, which is just a pun on prisoner.
When I said, is that a real place, I don't mean literally are these characters real. Is there like a prison where a man named Igor is keeping you?
Yes, and this is a non-fictional video game, autobiographical by the main character himself.
The Joker.
Yes, the jokester.
And here we go.
You know, for being the Joker, he's really not all that funny. Or anything.
Yeah. I mean...
Well, anyway,
maybe that's the joke.
Yes, that is the joke.
That means there might be all kind of international villains walking around in broad daylight.
Well...
Yusuke has had a sheltered life.
Yeah, Mishima's super into the whole superhero thing, but he's not actually... He's not actually very good at it. He's really good at managing web. That's one of the things that remains absolutely, like, literally unbelievable after all this time. The fact that the Phantom Thieves website is still blowing up, despite the fact that less than 10% of people even believe that they exist. I mean, I cannot... And that's going to continue to come up in these videos where it's like they're really banking on just how successful that website is. That's Mishima's real talent, PR.
I mean, even though have to be smart to be in PR.
I mean, how exactly? But I don't know. Anyway, that shop over there is called Riffle. I do want to point that out.
I want to point out that if 10% of people believe in a conspiracy, that's enough to really, like, that's a lot. That's some flat earth. That's moon landing.
Well, the thing is, this isn't a conspiracy. This is a rumored to exist group behind a teacher turning himself in a high school in the middle of Tokyo.
Yeah, but he won a gold medal, bro. Like, how many gold medalists are... Well, probably a ton, actually. Never mind.
I guess it's true. He was a former Olympian. You know, just like all the other former Olympians that I can name right now. Like...
Bob Beamon.
Ryan Lockley.
Michael Johnson. The Dream Team.
Zelig. Yo, I'm gonna stop myself right here. I somehow was convinced that Zelig, the Woody Allen movie, had something to do with an advertising campaign in the 80s centered around an Olympian. This is not true. Zelig is a movie by Woody Allen. I have no idea what I was thinking about.
Magically get the commercials that they have.
Yes, magically.
I mean, you watch them. You watch old VHS tapes.
Hey, people know about, like, Mac Tonight. Why can't I know about old advertising campaigns? That's the Moon guy.
Oh.
Well, anyway, I feel like we got completely off track here. What were we talking about?
What are they talking about?
Oh, they're just looking around for the next target, despite the fact that that's not how it works. Well, I mean, here's the question: how does it work? What am I even saying?
No more judging people by their appearance. Yeah, we have to judge them by their evil heart, which we must change.
Yeah, we have to judge them by their acts, which are thankfully entirely unforgivable. Making it very easy.
So, can you tell me why are they hanging out with Mishima and not Yusuke?
It is kind of a questionable thing as to why Mishima basically bullied his way into this group, so it's weird that we're just like totally down with what he does. But at the same time, too, he is also really, really good at PR.
He's charismatic and dumb.
He's not really that charismatic. Whatever. I mean, really, you should just get him a persona already, and then he can actually be, truly part of the team. But for some reason, I guess that's not going to be happening. My idea, he's still the guy that's going to betray us. Because it doesn't matter if he leaves the group. It's not like we're losing a party member.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's still one of those hanging threads from episode 1 in this episode 37. Your weird anti-Harajuku prejudice. Yeah, Mishima does not trust anybody that shops at Hot Topic. That's the real takeaway here.
Honestly, everyone in this group is so much cooler than Joker. Like,
yeah, but Joker doesn't have personality. Yeah, I mean, even as much as I was talking last time about how I don't like Anne, it's like I still think she's a fine character in the universe of the game and everything.
Yeah.
It's love to hate, except I don't like hate her. I just don't like her motivations, basically. Yeah, remember how the cat is how Mishima cannot actually hear what Morgana's saying? This is such whatever, he's down for it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, yeah, we don't actually yeah, now I remember what I was saying. It's just like we don't really have an actual plan as to who we're going to find for the next victim of the Phantom Thieves. But at the same time, I don't think just like trying to find people on the streets and being like, hey, they probably have a palace, even though Mishima does not know how palaces work. We really, if he's going to be part of the group, we really got to get him more cued in on what's going on.
Well, we got to do like a mob guy and get his knife, get his hand on the knife so that he's equally guilty. Right now, he has no reason to be, he doesn't have any reason to be lied to us other than what he can get from us, right?
Well, but the other thing is, what we're doing is not actually illegal. So, that's kind of a weird thing that's come up at the very beginning of the game, where it's just like, why is Joker been arrested by the police? Of course, I just my idea right now is that that's not real and that's all taking place in the metaverse. But like even then, like what are you gonna arrest this guy on?
Suspicion of causing disturbance? I don't know, something.
That's some pretty.
Well, he's on probation, so it's like, oh, you were just you were walking outside curfew. It doesn't even matter. Go to jail. Just who cares?
I guess, but did that require every cop in the tri-state area to come and arrest him?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, this is Persona 5. What am I even talking about? Of course it does.
By the way, did Ryuji actually say F up this one? Like, did he actually say like the Japanese equivalent?
Look, here's the thing. I want to put in fuck in this series so much because the game is too much of a coward to do so. But, I gotta stick to what the official translation is. What can I say?
So he's talking about Kamoshida. Right.
Well, of course he is.
I mean,
he's the talk of the town.
It's definitely this one teacher being physically abusive and regretting it. That we need to just keep talking about that. That's
nothing happens in this world without the Phantom Thieves being involved.
Yeah. And a mysterious change of heart, an expression that we use for things that never happen.
For capturing the public's attention, you are sentenced to lifetime in prison.
It will take time to solve this problem. However, we must start by making small changes.
I can just go get the English version of this, or well, I mean, of course, what I don't want to do is actually turn on the sound for this video because I am recording your stuff directly from my computer. But it's like, he does have a voice, And also, he does have, like, an English voice. I remember, actually, when I was You remember how there was one really quick scene that I kind of inserted for the catch-up video that I did on all the royal stuff.
Yeah.
And during that one point in time, I did have to record some footage from the English version in which I heard some of the English voice acting, which was so uncanny that I vomited right then and there.
Like, uncanny as in really, like, dead on, like, perfectly what you'd imagine?
No, it's just I'm so used to everything being in Japanese that it's like actually hearing somebody speak English is like, well, hearing me speak Japanese. It's
like watching the dub after you've been watching the sub or vice versa.
Well, literally, yes.
Yeah. I mean...
Like, it is exactly like that.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
How can you ever get used to Goku's nerd voice instead of his old grandma voice that he has in the Japanese version?
Or the Vegeta voice that, like, from season 1 of Dragon Ball Z that was clearly, like, voiced by a woman unconvincingly.
You know, the voice actor, the current voice actor for Vegeta still gets a request to do the over 9,000 line, even though he wasn't actually the one that said that. It's, I mean, yeah, it makes sense, but the reason why that line is so memorable is because it was done by a much worse voice actor.
Honestly, if I met the Vegeta voice actor, I would request Freebird. Just play Freebird.
Throw down some classical gas.
That's a joke from the 80s, and then you made a joke from the early 90s.
That was not from the early 90s. That was from like the mid 80s.
I know.
That was like Ronald Reagan territory.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
everybody remembers Reagan.
Reference, which was
stamp inflation now, or what? I don't even remember. I don't know what it was. Why am I even? I just said that it's like I'm not that old.
No, you're an old soul, and you're also a bit old.
No. No.
Okay.
No good Torah is such a literal translation of that. I love it.
I mean, good Torah.
It's not that I mean, certainly you could probably come up with something better than that, but that is Dame Torah.
I don't understand how this is like clearly like this is within Tokyo. It's a politician, a local politician, clearly like a native, but he's also Italian American and he's from Brooklyn. Like he owns an Italian
I don't know. Ever since like Brain Lord, I feel like everybody that I try to do any sort of voice acting for invariably turns into a Brooklynite. Especially Mario.
I'm a politician
because it's explicitly just Captain Lou Albano's Mario voice. Let's be honest. But I'm quite a stubborn individual myself. I hope today's incident was at least a good example of what not to do, but we're not doing that. I purposely don't do that in every other series that I've done on this channel, and I'm not going to start it here, especially because there is actually voice acting for this game.
Oh, yeah. That was so uncanny, you're going to get a copyright strike.
Yeah. Ah, damn it, Estate of Captain Lou Albano. Wait, why is his name listed on all the documents as Captain Lou?
I hope to see
his name changed legally in the 80s. Hey, wait, you all talk like that? Man, I guess it runs in the family. This is stupid. We still got half the episode left.
Yeah, well, it's just one more episode and then we're done with the entire game, right?
Yeah, it sure is. Oh boy.
Man,
oh, you naive fool.
Shut the fuck up, Morgana. What are you saying? Get dressed so you don't be late for school?
I mean, we're not even going to school right now, by the way. We're going to the school. Oh my god, this scene.
Now, who is she? Should I know who that is?
Oh, that's the new character that was introduced in the Royal.
Oh, okay.
It's just like...
That's wrist control. That's classic martial arts.
Yep, yeah. I mean, nobody can move if you grab them on their upper shoulder or their wrist.
Yeah.
But it's just like... remember when I was thinking it's just like, maybe they'll learn the lesson in the Royal and it'll be at least a little less sleazy, or at least less sleazy in the distressing way that I was talking about last episode. Well,
What a prick! Like he's like, oh,
in the middle of the street. It's like, oh come on, writers. This is the new stuff. The new stuff for the remake.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't have. Well. Anyway, yeah, Yoshizawa's still here. So is Morgana, just in case you forgot.
Morgana, it's so weird when Morgana just looks like a cat. She's like...
It is just weird that Morgana just is here and... period. No, I don't even need to continue that. Maybe being a shadow, you know, of the... Well, he's not a shadow. He's a... you know, having been so distorted by the other world... He is unnoticeable by normal people. I got nothing.
I mean, it's not that weird to carry. I mean, it's kind of weird to carry a cat in like your fanny pack or your backpack like that. It's not
and
like,
all the time.
Well, I mean, could just like pets, you know. Some people carry
in the middle of class.
I mean, it's weird only because they wouldn't allow that because of allergies. Like, you can't bring your pet to class because some people have allergies.
Pardon me, her classic catchphrase.
I mean, it's just weird that they call him, you know, the Joker instead of the cat owner. Oh yeah, you're that guy with that cat.
The cattle? No, wait. If you called somebody the cattler, that would sound like they were a farmer.
The cattler? I said cat owner.
Oh, I thought you said the cattler.
No.
Are you sure you didn't?
The cattle rancher.
Well, anyway, that's his new name.
Man, everyone in this game is so like, just like
so judgmental of what you wear.
They're so surprised about shit. Like oh yeah, you came all this way in your gym clothes. It's like, yeah, I'm going to a cleanup. Who cares?
And that's like literally part of doing the cleanup. You have to wear these, including that very stylish pop collar that the cattler is currently wearing.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how he managed. I don't know why he managed to do that. I guess they just have big collars, but well, it's tradition since Persona 4, I suppose.
So they have a community cleanup, and everyone has to wear their school uniforms, right? Is that right?
Or their doctor's outfit. See, you know I'm a doctor. This is literally a thing I said like 5 episodes ago. I was like Mariki doing that kind of half profile, you know, to accentuate his features.
He's hot and he knows it.
Yes. No, that's pretty much it.
That come hither glare.
Okay, these are teenagers.
More like
I don't think that he knows it.
Ryuji's dialogue is always the best.
Oh my god! I didn't even mention like the point where he just said, where like Mishima came up and Ryuji was like, "Oh man, you really just said the most awkward thing possible walking up here." And it's like, Ryuji, you're an ass.
Oh, miso soup! They really went all out.
I don't know.
I mean, it's not terrible or anything. It's just, oh, we got some fermented soybean paste that we dissolved into some water.
I don't know what like.
And that's your reward.
You know, let's be honest. I know nothing about like relative difficulty of cooking miso soup.
It is pretty good. I mean, it's not like bad or anything. I'm just saying it's a little bit like, okay.
But I mean, it's like it's something that you got to do in like a camping scenario. You can't really do. See, that's what I was talking about. They always be all like, "Hey, it's that transfer stew." That's literally the only thing that people do around him.
Yeah, they don't even try to hide it. It's like, oh, hey.
By the way, that was the entire scene.
Like, they should do that with like Ryuji and just like, hey, it's that fucking cool ass jock like we want to talk to. Oh,
it's that cool punk guy that everybody hates.
Keep it down. We don't want him to hear us.
That's a... Speaking of weird, awkward conversations.
Well, that is something, like, I guess, now that's even weird for teenagers. Like, why the fuck would they say
You can separate the coding from an umbrella. These are important housewife skills.
Shut the fuck up, Ryuji.
Yeah, it's weird that Ryuji's being the... I mean... I guess not that weird. He likes the punk lifestyle. He's not actually into... like, the... He's super down with being a superhero. Really. And then there's Haru, who I guess is probably going to be the next playable character. I don't really know exactly what the actual order of characters are, but, you know, the fact that she's appearing here kind of would say that she'll be the next person. Or maybe she's just supposed to be inserted in here so it's not as weird when she becomes a playable character.
Man, these teens are so lazy. Like, nobody's doing anything right now. They're just all standing around.
They love it. Stand around, having no face. You know how it goes. Teens don't even have eyeballs these days.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, you get this soup. you know how to use salt in soup. You really know what your shit. You're a chef.
Yes. There is no reason why you would need a megaphone for that.
We all just stood around for long enough and all the trash magically picked up itself.
Well, you had Anne sitting over there separating out the many umbrellas that you find in the park.
Nice.
Which is always maybe the most important part of doing any sort of cleanup.
Don't these people ever like have any time to themselves? Like, it just...
No, that's why we got Morgana as the surrogate main character.
Like, we don't just ever get anyone like just alone, you know, reflecting themselves. Just oh yeah, well, what am I gonna do?
What would the main character do? Okay, I want to point this out right now. I remember playing through like a lot of the. Well, first off, I played through the game several times just on account of whatever. And it's like, here's the thing: every single time the main character is by himself, you know, without Morgana to try to give a gauge of the situation, he just sits there and he talks with ellipses. Every single sentence that the main character says is with ellipses. And it's usually just like the most mundane explanation of whatever's happening.
Yeah.
And just imagine that it's like he must talk in like with the weirdest affectation possible. Because I mean, obviously now that we have Morgana, that doesn't really come up as much because Morgana's there to kind of give the color commentary. But it's like, man, every single line. Oh, this must be Sojiro's house. ...
The thing is,
I'm here, Sojiro. ...
I have a question. Do you think that it actually helps to have the main character be so generic, or could they have... No. Because
I have always said that I hate having a silent protagonist.
You know, because I was thinking, like, Night in the Woods is a really strong character. Like, you make choices and stuff, but your character is really well defined.
Yeah, I always think of the Witcher series. Because it's like, Geralt has a very distinct personality, but it is ultimately up to you to choose if he's a very mercenary witcher, you know, who's just in it for the money and does not care about anybody that he's helping, or if he is a very caring person who is trying to make the world a better place while also making a little bit of scratch on the side.
Yeah.
And it's like, you'd still get plenty of, you know, personality from him in spite of that.
Yeah, it's like the, you know, the Star Wars games or something, like the newer ones. It's like, okay, well, you can choose who you're going to be. You can be any kind of Inquisitor that you want to be, but you're not just a silent protagonist. You make your choices. I don't know.
I mean, you can still have a protagonist that does talk and still have very little personality looking at you Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Where it's aside from, my son.
I mean, yeah, but just giving it like he should just be a strong personality, but undirected, so you can choose which way he goes. But you know, you just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
having
I mean,
the
it's
silent protagonist means that like this, I have no, there's no tension, there's no interest in this conversation other than what she brings to the table. He's not bringing anything to the table.
and of course, yeah, that's pretty much the entire thing, and that's why I find it kind of frustrating. I had talked about like with one of Ryuji's lines, which I think you had dropped out of due to internet issues, which has been happening a lot. But it's like, you know, Ryuji has problems pretty similar to like the main characters, where it's like he made a mistake in the past and people blame him for it, and etc. and so on. But it's like the main character can't actually talk about that and maybe like give his own perspective on experiences similar to Ryuji. He can just literally sit there and listen. And do nothing else.
Man, this main character sucks. So yeah, it's like, look at that. She just did like a fucking backflip to get that balloon from 10 feet in the air.
Well, Morgana was impressed by it because Morgana's the main character.
Yeah, she could have just fucking.
You're surrogate main character because the real one sucks.
She could have just like, if she had a basketball in her hand, she could have dunked it with one hand and grabbed the balloon with the other.
Well, that's a thumbnail.
But just like, oh yeah, well the main character's like, oh well she kind of dropped something that might be useful for me. Who cares? Like, who cares about this if you just jumped up?
Hey, Morgana's a mercenary character. He's always thinking, well, obviously Morgana's not really going to be able to do too much in the real world otherwise, so he's always thinking about like, hey, how can we take this into the metaverse with us?
Oh, I just mean like how the Joker, I know I keep saying the Joker, which is his name, or sorry, the Cattler.
Yes, it's the Cattler.
And he's just like, oh, we're gonna pick up that like diary or whatever, the pocketbook. Like,
she's like, so what's the deal with your cat there? Yes, where?
Did you just call him senpai?
Oh yeah, of course. She calls everybody senpai.
Oh, okay. Is that because she's younger?
Yes.
Okay.
But also because she is very demure. That's kind of her major character trait.
Okay. Yeah, she definitely has like a personality. Like again, she seems like all the main characters except for Joker. I'm sorry, the Cattler.
As well established at this point. Well, also we have like a very clear arc that she's going to eventually follow, where she starts to stalk Joker around in the metaverse. So that's going to be a weird turn of events, but I guess we'll get there when we get there. And starts thinking of her old self as being too soft. I'm kind of curious as to how that's going to come up, but
yeah, I can't wait for that. That sounds like fun.
I have no idea, because it's like she's not part of the Phantom Thieves. She just stalks them around.
Wait, so she doesn't become like a Phantom Thief?
No. That's the weird thing. But it's like, how is that going to even happen? We'll have to see. As of right now, it's like we know that she's got gymnastic skills to pay the bills, and that's about it.
So she doesn't, like, the royal characters, they're not going to join the main party? Is that right?
I mean, maybe like later on, because the game is going to continue on after the first scene, you know, where you get captured and everything. This scene that we're watching right now. Because as far as I can tell, this is probably about halfway through the game, I think. So it's like we're going to get a pretty decent amount past that, but at least about halfway through the game, she has made a change of personality, but has not actually joined the team.
Oh. What does this stuff say?
Le Foi? I don't know. It's a faith. It's the faith arcana. Yeah, it also does say there in Japanese, which I understand better than French. Well, what can I say?
Funny, because French is almost exactly the same as English. Like
or not faith, it's belief. Belief is, I think, actually what they called it in the English version.
If you know enough French words, you can pretty much just read it if you're an English speaker, because it's just like it's the same grammar and everything. So.
Well, I mean, if you learn Latin, I hear it's kind of like the same sort of thing for a lot of like the derived languages.
It's actually even more similar to English, I would say. That's just, at least in terms of like the word order and stuff.
Well, anyway, next time, I think we're not actually like getting much of anywhere. It's just like a lot more little vignettes.
Well, we got the whole
which are fun. even though I feel like I don't really have too much more to say about him.